Look at this number, 0. It's on every phone, every clock, every price tag. You learned it before you could read. It seems like the most obvious idea in the world. But for most of human history, it didn't exist. The greatest minds of ancient Greece and Rome, the people who built the Parthenon and conquered the known world, had no 0. They thought the very idea was absurd, even dangerous. 0 would be feared, banned by governments, condemned as the work of the devil. And it would travel an incredible journey, across India, through the libraries of the Islamic world, and into a Europe that fought to keep it out. This is the story of how nothing became the most important number we have. The breakthrough came not from the West, but from India. Indian mathematicians and philosophers had something the Greeks didn't, a culture comfortable with the idea of the void, of emptiness, of infinity. Concepts like shunya, emptiness, sat at the heart of their thought. And so, where others saw an impossible idea, they saw something natural. By around the 7th century, a brilliant mathematician named Brahmagupta did something no one had done before. He didn't just use 0 as a placeholder, he treated it as a number. He wrote down the rules. What happens when you add 0, subtract it, multiply by it? He gave nothing a personality, a set of laws of its own. This was the leap. 0 was no longer just an empty space in counting, it was a number you could do mathematics with. It could be negative or positive. It opened the door to negative numbers, to algebra, to everything that followed. In India, nothing had finally become something. But a revolutionary idea trapped in one place changes nothing. For 0 to remake the world, it needed to travel. And the road it would take ran straight through the libraries of Baghdad. In the 9th century, Baghdad was the intellectual capital of the world. At its heart stood the House of Wisdom, a great center of learning where scholars gathered the knowledge of every civilization they could reach, Greek, Persian, and crucially, Indian. It was here that Indian mathematics arrived, and it was here that one man would carry 0 to the world. His name was Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, and if that name sounds strange, listen closely, because you use a version of it every single day. From his name, Latinized, we get the word algorithm. From the title of his book, Al-Jabr, we get the word algebra. Al-Khwarizmi took the Indian numeral system, including 0, and systematized it. He showed how these 9 digits and the powerful little circle could represent any number imaginable, and how to calculate with them. His work spread across the Islamic world, from Baghdad to Spain. The system we now call Arabic numerals, the 1, 2, 3 and the 0 you're picturing right now, was carried, refined and transmitted to the world by these scholars. Without this bridge, the Indian 0 might have stayed in India forever. The Islamic Golden Age didn't just preserve 0, it gave it the language and the reach to conquer the planet. And the next stop on its journey was a Europe that did not want it. When 0 finally reached medieval Europe, it was not welcomed. It was feared. For one thing, Europe still clung to Roman numerals, deeply tied to tradition and the church. This strange new system from the Islamic world felt foreign, even threatening. And 0 itself, a symbol for nothing, a number that could make other numbers vanish or explode in value, seemed almost occult. Some condemned it as dangerous, even diabolical. And then there was fraud. With the new numerals, a 0 could be tampered with, a figure could be altered, A 0 turned into a 6 or a 9, sums changed by a stroke of the pen. So in the year 1299, the city of Florence did something extraordinary. It banned the use of these numerals in official records. Other cities followed. But you cannot ban a better idea forever. Merchants discovered that this system made trade, accounting and calculation vastly easier than the clumsy Roman way. They began using it in secret, almost like a code. Slowly, the very people who drove Europe's economy forced the change from below. By the Renaissance, 0 had won. The system that Europe had banned became the foundation of European banking, science, and mathematics. The number, once feared as the devil's work, was about to make the modern world possible. Here is what all those who feared 0 never understood. It wasn't just another number. It was a key that unlocked entire universes of thought. 0 made the decimal system work, the place value system that lets 10 symbols express any number, however vast. Without it, there is no easy arithmetic, no large-scale science, no engineering. It gave us negative numbers and the number line stretching infinitely in both directions from a central point, 0. It became the foundation of calculus, the mathematics of motion and change built on the idea of approaching 0 infinitely closely. Every bridge, every rocket, every prediction of a planet's orbit depends on it. And in the modern age, 0 became half of the language that runs our entire world. Every computer, every phone, every line of code speaks in just 2 digits, 1 and 0. The number once banned as nothing now carries nearly all of human knowledge. From the pyramids that were built without it to the computers that cannot run without it, 0 went from unthinkable to indispensable. It's strange when you think about it. The number for nothing turned out to be the most powerful idea in mathematics. It was born from the philosophy of India, carried and transformed by the scholars of the Islamic world, and forced, against fierce resistance, into a Europe that would one day build the modern world on top of it. No single civilization invented 0 alone. It was a relay race across humanity spanning 1,000 years. So the next time you see that little circle on your screen, remember, it was once feared, banned, and called the work of the devil. And it traveled further than almost any idea in history to reach you. If you learned something today, subscribe. There's a lot more hidden history where this came from. And tell me in the comments, what's the most surprising part of 0's journey?